I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
We have such sights to show you.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
I guess I was probably returning videotapes.
I am big. It's the picture that got small.
Who cares?
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, but be one traveler long I stood. I can't keep this up, Rachel. I'm sorry.
Robert Frost?
I'm sorry.
Are you mocking my intro?
No, why would I do that?
How could you do that?
I would never. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest installment of the Movie Roulette Tuesday podcast. This is Carl.
And this is Rachel.
This is Matt.
All right.
Did you get that out of your system?
I did.
You happy now?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Why Robert Frost?
It's one of the only poems I know by heart.
Oh, okay.
I know. You know what poem I know by heart that I had to learn in middle school was the Jabberwocky. I know that whole poem.
I know the red wheelbarrow by heart.
Oh, that's easy.
I know.
right.
I know a good chunk of the
Come on.
Raven.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice, because you're goth.
Yeah.
'Cause you went through your goth phase.
I went through.
Still are.
So, it is my week for
Yes.
our Close Encounters theme. Neither of you went the alien route
Nope.
because that was the low-hanging fruit. But I'm lazy and I like low-hanging fruit, so I snatched
plucked
it. It was one that was already on the ground. I didn't even have to pluck it. It
It
had already
overripe.
fallen.
Those tend to be rotted, Carl.
I know.
I said, "Well,
Were there
this
ants
is-
on it?
They're
No,
ones
no.
that you don't usually want to eat.
It was recently fallen. I heard the thump.
Okay,
All
you
right.
turned around. There it was.
I'm
You're
like, oh.
that's for me.
That's mine. So, and if you recall last week, I had a movie in mind before I spun my shake-up, and I was hoping the shake-up wouldn't mess it up. It didn't, and Rachel asked me, can I give you a hint
Right.
about the movie I was selecting? And I said, nope.
And there it was.
And you said, come on.
Yeah.
And I said, nope. Not only was I giving you a hint, I was telling you
Oh my God.
what my pick is.
Crazy.
My pick today is the 2022, what Wikipedia calls neo-Western science fiction horror film,
Ah.
Jordan Peele's Nope.
Nope. Okay.
So this was written and directed by Jordan Peele, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, Stephen Yeun, Michael Winkett, and Keith David.
Okay.
I don't know any of those people.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you
know
do.
Stephen
Yeun
Yeun.
was, what's his face? He got beaten up by Negan.
Glenn. He was also in Beef.
He was Glenn in Walking Dead. He was in Beef.
Okay.
Michael Wincott was the bad guy in The Crow with the long
Really?
hair.
Uh-oh.
The original Crow?
Yeah, he talks like this.
Okay.
And then you know Keith David, Maid Marian, from
No.
Keith David.
Nope.
From what? You can't just say Maid
from
Marian.
Requiem
which...
for a Dream.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't remember.
He was also in They Live.
He was?
Yes, he was
yes.
the guy, the dude that Roddy Piper fought in the alley.
The black guy.
Yes.
With the space between his teeth.
Yes, that's
I
Keith
love
David.
him.
See, that's how I know people. I don't know what the like actual names are. I don't say them. I don't know them.
It's all right. It's okay.
The brief synopsis or brief description of this movie is: a man and his sister discover something sinister in the skies above their California horse ranch, while the owner of a nearby theme park tries to profit from the mysterious otherworldly phenomenon.
So, all of those things that you mentioned sound familiar because Matt and I saw the last 20 minutes of this movie while we were on vacation on a cruise. And
Mexico.
it made 0.0 sense.
Well, as would any movie, probably, if
But
you
there
watched the last 20 minutes of
There
it.
were horses. It looked like it was out in the West. There was a theme park. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
that tracks.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew what it was, too. Like, we were exhausted. We had come back from a day out doing something in,
The equator.
Yeah.
Hot weather. No, not the equator.
and came back and, you throw the TV on in your room, and this was on, and it was relatively fresh in people's minds because, I think That was the year we went, right? 2022. So
It would have been newish.
it was pretty new. And it's like, oh yeah, it's that thing because we saw the trailer for it
Yep.
a few times, and it's like, oh, that's the end of it. Okay, whatever. And then,
Like, okay, ta-da.
Well, now you get to see
We
what
get
led
to
up
the
to
rest
that.
of it. We get context now,
Yeah,
which is always
context
important.
is key.
Yes. Jordan Peele. So I've got mixed opinions on Jordan Peele. I enjoyed Get Out.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Jordan Peele is the Key and Peele?
Key and Peele.
The Peele and Key and
Yes.
Peele?
Which has the hilarious skit of the teacher pronouncing names.
Aaron.
Jaqueline. Is there a Jaqueline here? It's
There-
just really funny.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have some good sketches on that show.
Yeah.
For sure.
And he was on SNL? Or no? Am I thinking of somebody
No.
else?
I think Keegan-Michael Key, I think he was on Mad TV.
Okay. Yeah, so it was on some show.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But Jordan Peele kind of branched off and started directing horror movies. Get Out, I enjoyed, which was his first big one. Then he did Us, which I hated.
What was that one about?
It was that movie where there's a family and outside their house they see another family and it's basically like evil doppelgangers of
Oh,
them.
you told us about this. Yeah. Yeah.
And they get terrorized. It's basically like a home invasion movie, but their house is being invaded by like an evil version of themselves.
Okay.
Sounds a little bit like Coherence.
It's not as good as
No.
Coherence.
No.
Because the explanation as to what's going on just
Didn't sit right with you?
No,
Dissatisfied?
it's like everything I hate about the movie because we've talked about how sometimes I get stuck on menial things that you're not supposed to dwell on. The entire explanation of what's going on in that movie is something that immediately I'm just like, how would this even work? Like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
It made me angry.
Okay.
So, but I liked Get Out. So it's like when Nope came out, it's like, well, you know what? I really liked one of his movies. I really hated one of his movies.
50-50.
I'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I dug this movie.
Okay.
I thought that it was a really interesting way to look at aliens, is all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything before we watch it, but it was a really cool take on aliens that's different from anything
Really?
I'd seen in movies, because there's countless movies about aliens, right? And we'll talk about it, but it was just an interesting take on aliens that I don't really remember seeing before in a movie, so I thought it was cool. Now, we have shakeups, and so my shakeup was that my pick had to take place in a real city or town.
Wow. Yeah.
So this film takes place in Agua Dulce, California.
And that's a real place?
It is Sweetwater in Spanish. So Agua Dulce is an unincorporated community and census-designated place in Los Angeles County, California. Community had a population of 3,451 people as of 2020. Covers a geographic area of about 23 square miles. Now, one of the notable things about Agua Dulce is...
Is it Agua Dulce or Agua Dulce?
I don't speak Spanish.
Dulce is more Italian.
I think it's Agua Dulce, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. You can continue to pronounce it the way you'd like.
I'm going to pronounce it how I'm pronouncing it. Any Spanish-speaking listeners, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. But this area is known for being used for filming location.
Oh.
So specifically Vasquez Rocks, which if I show you a picture of this,
Oh, yep.
you will recognize those specific rocks probably.
They're actually really pretty.
They are. Some notable things that were filmed there: Blazing Saddles, the original Star Trek series, the episode with Gorn, like that lizard guy that Kirk had to fight. That was filmed at Vasquez Rocks.
Okay.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was filmed there. A bunch of music videos. Tom Petty's "You Got Lucky."
Wow.
Weird Al Yankovic's "I Love Rocky Road."
I love rock and roll.
We're filmed there.
I'm sure it is.
So it's known for being
a hot spot.
And if you look up, I mean, Vasquez Rocks has its own Wikipedia page,
Wow.
and there's hundreds of things movies, TV
Is this
shows.
close to L.A.?
It's in
Hollywood?
LA County.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. So, yeah, it's
I wonder if
convenient.
there are incentives to
Maybe.
film there.
Yeah.
You know.
So my pick takes
It's
place
real.
there. It is a real place, so that satisfies.
Well, maybe they'll say the name of the town so we'll know how to pronounce it.
Maybe. Maybe.
Important to me.
We can hope.
One can dream.
So
Okay.
I'm going the lazy close encounter
That's
route.
not lazy. You're
with
just
aliens.
choosing that. Aliens. Somebody's got to do it.
Now, as soon as I heard the theme Close Encounters, I mean, the immediate thing I thought of was Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes.
Do you guys know the various levels of Close Encounters?
No, I don't think I do.
Only from watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I don't even remember. Did they explain it in that
In
movie?
the
I don't
trailer for the
remember.
movie, I think they said, like,
They
the
do.
Close Encounter of the First Kind
Yep.
is this, the second
Okay.
kind is
Contact
this.
is the third. I'm pretty
Oh, my
sure.
God. So what's
But
the
yeah,
first
I mean,
kind?
I'm sure
like
Carl will talk about it.
seeing it?
So the actual the Close Encounter scale was originally created by astronomer and UFO researcher J. Allen Hynek's book, The UFO Experience: A Scientific Inquiry,
Oh, okay.
from 1972.
Yes.
Now, he only had 3 levels originally,
Okay.
but then other people have added to them following his passing.
Is that canonical?
I
added
I
to?
don't know.
I'm sure it's not.
But now he actually had a total of 5 levels, but only 3 of them were considered close encounters.
All right.
Because it's based on how close you are to the phenomenon.
So getting probed is what?
We'll talk
That's
about it.
like-
We'll talk about it. So
closest
he
encounter.
originally he devised a 6-fold classification for
Oh,
UFO
my God.
sightings.
Okay.
So his 6 levels. So non-close encounter. So the first level, nocturnal lights. You just see lights in the sky.
That could be anything.
Swamp gas.
Could be anything.
Right. Swamp gas. Drones.
The second level would be seeing a disc-shaped object in the daylight. So
a
UFOs
sighting.
seen in the daytime,
Okay.
generally having discoidal or oval shapes.
Okay.
The third level that he created was radar visual, UFO reports that have radar
A
confirmation.
blip.
These supposedly try to offer harder evidence that the objects are real, although radar propagation can be occasionally discredited due to atmospheric propagation anomalies. But some sort of technology is detecting this.
Yeah. Okay. Confirmation.
Then we get into close encounters, which is 500, anything within 500 feet
Okay.
of the observer. So close encounter of the first kind, visual sighting of an unidentified flying object seemingly less than 500 feet away
All right.
that show an appreciable angular extension and considerable detail.
Okay.
So you see this thing in the air and it's closer
You
than
can make
500
out
feet.
details.
You
Yeah.
can make out details on it.
Yeah.
That's the first kind.
That's the close encounter of the first kind.
Okay.
Close encounter of the second kind, a UFO event in which a physical effect is alleged. This can be interference in the functioning of a vehicle or electronic device, animals reacting, a physiological effect such as paralysis or heat or
Oh
discomfort
my
in
God.
the witness.
If you heard like a crazy sound.
Right, or some
Okay.
physical trace-like impressions in the ground, scorched or otherwise. So like crop circles.
Okay. That's the second
Would
kind.
be a close encounter of the second kind, where they're leaving physical,
Yeah.
they're
It's like, look at
creating
that.
a physical effect.
Okay.
The close encounter of the third kind, UFO encounters in which an animated entity is present. These include humanoids, robots, and humans who seem to be occupants or pilots of a UFO. So it's not just the craft, there is some sort of being
On it.
on it or in its proximity
That you
or
see.
in it that you can see.
Okay.
Would be a close encounter of the third kind.
Okay.
With
Now-
with alien life, not just machinery.
Right. I mean, it does say
Well, that
Or
life
robots.
may manifest as a robot, but it's more than beyond the craft.
right.
Yeah.
Right. There's something controlling said craft.
Yeah.
Robots.
Now that's as far as Hynek went.
All right.
Now, following his breakdown here. UFO researcher Ted, I might be mispronouncing this, Blocher.
Blucher. There we go.
He broke it into subtypes and got into more detail with it, direct versus close, or he went into it in more detail.
Okay.
Cliff notes.
Right. Well,
There aren't any.
No. Can we have them?
well, he basically, specifically to the third kind,
Yeah.
he broke it out into, was the entity observed only inside the UFO, or was it inside and outside
Did
the
he
UFO?
give you a high five?
Was it a drive-by, or did they get out and say hi?
Right, or like, did anybody else see it other than the one person that witnessed it? Like, was it witnessed by multiple people? So he kind of broke it out into
Like a mass event versus
more detail. Right.
Okay.
Or was the entity seen on its own without the craft there,
Oh my
without the
God.
actual UFO?
Just a lone alien.
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So Hynek died in 1986, and he had a colleague, Jacques Vallée, who extended the Close Encounters by 2. So Close Encounter of the Fourth Kind.
Okay.
A Close Encounter of the Fourth Kind is a UFO event in which a human is abducted by a UFO or its occupants.
Okay.
So Hynek did not take this into account. So
But does abduction exclusively mean taken against someone's will, or can it be someone voluntarily?
Well, usually
leaves
abducted
with-
does mean taken against your will, but
That's why I'm asking for clarification.
I think if you are taken free will or no into an alien spacecraft, that's
Well, you're assuming that. That's what I
Close
mean.
encounter of the fourth kind.
Is there a different kind where it's a voluntary thing? or
I'm
does
coming
it
with you.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And then the Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind. So
there's your probe.
a Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind is where an alien abductee receives some manner of physical effect
There it
from
is.
their close encounter, typically
Yeah.
either injury or healing.
Oh, yeah, because some people have said the aliens have healed them, fixed their problems.
Yeah.
Others say the opposite.
Well, you hear a lot about like invasive procedures that they'll do for exploration or research
Yeah.
purposes, where and you might come away without scarring or something like that, but you have
Inside, you know.
well right or you have memory of them
Traumatic.
examining you. And,
Listen, aliens are like ghosts. I don't want to know. I don't want to interact. I don't want to know. They can just stay where they are, and that's cool. We don't need to cross paths. Nope. They fall into the ghost category.
yeah. Well,
What do you think's more likely to exist, ghosts or aliens?
Oh, God.
aliens.
No, that's not true.
It's an opinion.
It's a wrong opinion.
It's an opinion.
You can't have it.
No, you're wrong, Matt.
And statistically speaking, I mean, the chances you're talking about them existing at all, not our chances of crossing paths with them. Carl Sagan does a great
he
analysis.
does.
You can find it on YouTube or just read it in one of his books about there's a calculation, and it's pretty straightforward about, and it makes certain assumptions.
But it's about us contacting aliens. Like, we're never going to contact aliens, or the likelihood is
not
low.
just within our own lifetimes, but within the existence of man.
Right.
The chances of that actually happening. Like, do I think that there's life on other planets in some way, shape, or form in the entire universe?
I think it'd be weird if there wasn't.
Exactly. But
In some
the
capacity.
chances of, civilizations evolving far enough to create the technology required for long distance space travel and then happening to come here and crossing our paths and blah, blah, blah are,
Infinitesimally small.
yes.
Well, so what do you I mean, I feel like over the last few years, a lot more attention has been drawn to UFOs because they're actually talking about it, like in hearings and
Yeah.
so all of those things
I mean, that information is becoming more and more into the public, is coming more into the public domain.
So do you think that's just experimental Earth technology
I do.
that
I think
people
like,
are seeing? Or?
all that Project Blue Book stuff where things in the sky and unexplained things, I think it's all either a natural phenomenon, right, like a weather-related or a chemical thing, or it's somebody else. It's man-made.
Yeah.
I don't think it's aliens. Although, if aliens were to come to Earth, I do think they would be drawn by the atomic bomb. That's my own crazy sci-fi theory. Because they're like, what are you doing over here? They're splitting the atom.
Yeah, I mean, that could prompt,
Like a little neighborhood watch. It's like, whoa, what are you doing?
Well, because, I mean, you hear some of these reports where, like, pilots are saying, like, I've never seen anything move like that. Like, it's I don't know how.
It's just unexplainable. It doesn't mean it's aliens. That's what I think we go to. It's like, it's not of this earth, but.
Right. I mean, over human history, there have been a lot of ways to explain the unknown. Religion, magic.
Yeah.
Ghosts, all kinds of different things where if we don't understand, what's the saying? Like any technology advanced enough to an unevolved civilization is indistinguishable from magic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of the same philosophy where we as human beings with brains, our brains try to rationalize everything and try to create an explanation for why we're seeing something.
Relate it to something it already is familiar with.
Explain
exactly. We need to be able to explain it in some way, shape, or form.
I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
And it certainly could be, but yeah, I think there's life out there somewhere. Do I think that they came here and, made crop circles or built the pyramids? No. And
I saw a great
there's a lot of
theory
compelling
about the
video
pyramids
out there.
Yeah.
About, military pilots. It's their cameras from their craft, and it's capturing things that cannot be explained.
And you hear them reacting to it, like,
oh yeah,
like,
they're like, what is
was
that? And I don't blame them to be freaked out, but I just.
And there's a lot of stuff out there that's fake.
But
I think a lot of it's real, but we don't know what it is.
But what's worse, if that's aliens or if that's another country that has technology that our pilots are freaking out about because they don't know how it works.
Maybe.
Or it's our own country's technology.
That they don't know about.
That they're unaware of because it's secret.
True. Yeah.
Hard to say.
Just as an aside real quick, you mentioned the pyramids.
I know.
I think you watched it with me. A special once about the pyramids and how people are like, how are they constructed? Because, there's the theory that slaves, strapped rope and just pulled these giant blocks up ramps. But there was a great theory, and I totally buy into it. I got to find it again about water displacement.
Yeah, I don't agree with
I
this.
do. Come on. That's brilliant. And they would create these big, floating pathways around the pyramid, and they would push is it limestone? I forget, the blocks into place, and then they would, I don't know, seemed amazing.
I think that's
more plausible than aliens.
Something where someone came up with an idea,
reverse engineered it.
Yes.
Oh, come on though. Anyway, that was just an aside.
But however they did it, I don't think aliens were involved.
No, chariots of fire.
No. But I would believe more someone who said that they saw or had some sort of encounter with an alien than a ghost.
Really?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
I'm not going to say you're wrong, like Rachel did.
You're wrong.
But both of you actually believe in the possibility that there could be ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't want to know. Ignorance. Aliens too. I don't want to know. I'm an ostrich.
Now, one of the reasons that I wanted to pick this, as I mentioned, is I really dig the design of the alien in this movie.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you guys, movie aliens, do any of them stick out to you in terms of ones that you really liked, ones that you thought were interesting, ones that you thought were stupid. What are some? Let's talk movie aliens.
How about the dreadlock alien in Independence Day? He's ridiculous.
I thought that was pretty creative, and I like the idea of having some sort of exoskeleton.
Yeah, they had a suit, right? Wasn't it like their suit?
Yeah, it was like a suit.
But it was like a biomechanical thing.
Yeah.
That integrated, with them physically. It wasn't just like a giant robot that they were inside.
Right.
Which would make sense. Like if an alien is invading another planet, they don't know the oxygen. Like they don't. Who knows if they can even breathe? They have to have some sort of system.
Life support. Yep.
Yeah.
How about Predator? He's an alien, right?
Predator was cool. I remember the first time I saw that movie when he took off his mask and you see the actual
what?
face.
Yeah.
The original Predator had amazing practical effects, and nothing that has come after that in the Predator world has come close or has been necessary. But,
I know what you're going to say.
Well, I mean, there are two that immediately come to mind, and really three. Two that I appreciate. One is the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because that embodies the classic, gray man type, large head, big eye type alien. I always liked that. But from the movie Alien and Aliens, I always loved the artwork of H.R. Giger.
Yes.
And I really, really dig that portrayal.
The xenomorph.
Yeah. It's this thing. It's adapted for its own environment, for whatever it needs to do to survive wherever it came from.
Acidy spit.
Yeah. And it's...
And the little baby alien inside it.
It's more of an
like
animal.
the reproductive system or how it...
Yep. That I really like. One that I didn't care for, and I never understood all the praise that it got, and I'm blanking on the name of the movie, but it's the Mel Gibson one.
Signs.
Everyone thought
they're like afraid of water.
Like that was terrifying, and it was such a good portrayal of an alien life form.
It was almost like a gray man, just human-sized.
It was, and it was just kind of like darting around.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did not care for that film. Maybe I need to see it again. It's been a long time.
I didn't mind it.
That's the last M. Night Shyamalan movie that I enjoyed.
Yeah. I thought the twist was pretty good, that aliens. But then when you pick it apart, it's like, so with the water.
Why would they land on a planet that was
70% water, right? Like you're an idiot.
You'd think they would have noticed that, just circling the planet.
Right? They would, but maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. I can buy into that a little bit, but
or maybe our water, like the way our water is constructed, just.
Well, I mean, water's water. It's a combination of different molecules.
Maybe they don't have water where they came from, I guess is what I'm saying. So they wouldn't have even known what it was. Yeah.
I mean, other good aliens, obviously Star Wars.
Well, which one?
Just the whole world and all the different aliens and how some of them are humanoid, some of them are not at all. You've got like Jabba the Hutt.
That cantina scene in the original Star Wars. There's just like so much eye candy in there. Like, oh, look at that guy.
Yeah.
He's got a nipple on his head.
I think that brings up an interesting point or thought. When you have interplanetary trade and travel and whatever, and it's not an assumption, it's not a guess, it's not a what if, it's that there's life on this planet and it manifests this way. Is it really an alien anymore, or is it just like someone from a different country?
I think once you establish there's life on other planets, like that, it's you would treat it like it's another country at that point.
Well, but see, I don't know. I think there's a gap between, like, let's say that there was an incident that happened here, like, some spacecraft landed and it's like, yep, for sure, we know that there are aliens. I think we would still refer to them as aliens.
On our planet, sure.
Yeah,
they are alien to our planet.
But
we're aliens to them.
Yes.
If that, if let's say spawning from that event, we learned,
like Deep Space Nine
technology. Yeah, exactly. It happens on a regular basis.
Yes.
you're going to some other planet. Are they still? They're alien in the vocabulary sense, but are they the same?
Yeah, but
would you perceive it the same way?
They don't call them like on Star Trek. They're like, oh, it's the Centaurans,
Exactly.
or oh, it's the
Exactly.
Klingons.
Because
Like,
now
that's where they're from.
We have knowledge.
They're from that planet.
Right? We have
context.
Right.
Romulans
we know
are
where
from
they're
Romulus.
from. We know stuff about them.
Remans are from Remus.
So I don't think we'd continue to call them aliens.
Probably not, or that would be a derogatory term. It's like, oh, you're just an alien,
Yeah.
instead of,
Carl, what about you in terms of favorite aliens?
I mean, I'm definitely on board with the alien from the xenomorph. The other thing I think about is I like when movies don't make their aliens humanoid. So I know, like, Rachel doesn't like this movie, but, like, Arrival.
I knew this was going to get mentioned.
Those aliens were, like, way
Something else,
different.
shadowy.
Like, it was a unique take on aliens, where it's not just a humanoid. It's got two legs and two arms, but a weird, messed up face. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do.
I liked in District 9.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
how they were, like, almost insect-looking. Like, they looked like bugs.
Terrifying.
Or shrimps. You know?
Shrimp. They look like prawns.
Right. Well, that's what they call them, prawns.
Yeah.
Because they had that weird
Shrimpy
exoskeleton
face. Yeah.
bug face.
That's such a great movie.
It is a great movie.
It's up there for me.
Are you glad they didn't make a sequel, or are you disappointed?
I love
there was
the
discussion.
fact that they didn't make a sequel.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
It's so sad. It's such a tragic movie.
Guys, what about Alf?
Not many furry aliens that eat cats.
He's unique, that's for sure.
He was an alien, though.
Yes,
Or,
from Melmac.
From Melmac. That's
Were
right.
the Na'vi
Yeah,
from
Avatar.
Avatar, were they aliens?
They are aliens.
Yeah.
They don't come from Earth.
But there's no
To us,
Earth.
they're
Well,
aliens.
no, there's Earth in that movie. They're
There is?
humans. Yeah, the
Yeah.
humans are like
Do you know?
occupying their planet.
I never saw Avatar,
You're not missing anything.
and I didn't think so.
Just watch Ferngully.
I would prefer that.
Story-wise, or you could watch Pocahontas. But
I love Pocahontas.
I think that James Cameron did it. I mean,
You saw it, right?
yeah, it's a visual accomplishment.
Okay.
It's worth seeing.
I don't understand how people got so rabid about it, and it's
No.
like the #1 movie, like highest grossing movie in history.
That I don't get.
Like people seeing it 6 times, 7 times. Like, what is the matter with you?
Well,
like, it's fine.
Is there like a love story? Do people
Yeah,
relate?
sure.
Can they relate to it, or maybe that's it?
I don't know.
That has to be it, I guess. I don't know. I have no interest. I think they're so bizarro looking.
There's a lot of good
just-
aliens in Men in Black. The Men in Black movies.
Oh my God. What's that guy's name? Tony, the actor.
Tony Shalhoub?
Tony Shalhoub.
Oh, where you had the little alien like inside of him, like
Yes.
driving him around.
No, his eyes bugged out.
Oh,
Remember?
right.
Eyes bugged out. That was great. Yeah. No, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bread machine beeping.
Oh, the bread machine's done.
Yeah.
Matt got me a bread machine for Mother's Day, and I love it so much.
It's nice.
It is nice. It makes really good bread. Want to make mine broke, so.
Get Japanese appliances. They make good shit.
And they sing little songs sometimes.
Yeah.
Our
I
rice
love when my
cookers
dryer
sing.
sings to me when it's
Really? Our dryer makes almost a Close Encounters little song.
nice.
Those are American. Maybe.
Maytag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any other aliens spring to mind? What about Mac and Me? That was a good alien movie, right?
I did like that.
With the
E.T.?
lips permanently pursed.
Stop. Ew. Ugh.
I like that story. It was a book, I think, and or it was sort of based off the book Five Children and It. But I did see Mac and Me in the theater when it came.
It was a
out.
Coke commercial, basically. Like the whole movie was a Coke commercial.
They definitely gave them money. Yeah.
E.T. I
Wow.
remember seeing in theaters.
How do you feel about E.T.? Not about the film, but about how they chose to represent an alien through the form of E.T.
I thought E.T. was cool from a
Weird.
creature design standpoint.
Just weird.
But I think they did a great job with it because it made it strange and alien, for lack of a better word. But it was humanoid,
Yeah.
so that you could,
Give it human expression.
bond with it.
Yeah.
Well, they even say there are interviews where it's like he would be on the set because it's a practical effect, and I think Dee Wallace, or the lady that played the mom, was just like, oh yeah, he would be over there, and you would like almost want to talk to him like he
You're
was a
like,
member of the
"Hi, T."
cast.
Well, right,
Yeah.
but in terms of the target audience for that film, they made it so that you could. It was weird and kind of foreign, but not scary.
Well, he was kid sized too.
Yeah.
He was the size of the kids.
But exactly, and I think that that was 100% intentional.
Yeah.
To make kids comfortable with that character. You know, it's weird, but it's relatable, and you know, it was very childlike. I don't know. I think that movie is really good. I was always a fan of E.T.
E.T. always mildly repulsed me, but I wasn't scared of him.
Exactly. Well, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Others, I'm sure there are a million others.
oh, of course.
I don't know, like the aliens from the Last Starfighter, or remember that show V? Mm-hmm. Or
What about Enemy Mine? You remember Enemy Mine with Dennis
do.
Quaid?
Yep.
Those almost were in like the lizard route too. I think from what I remember.
Or
Mork from Mork and Mindy.
He just looked like Robin
that's
Williams.
Robin Williams. Or
Yeah.
Alien Nation, where they would get drunk on milk.
What?
The aliens in Cocoon, they glowed.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Or like,
Batteries not included.
well, yeah, there were robots. Or The Abyss.
Oh
There
yeah.
were aliens in the abyss.
Yeah, they lived in the bottom of the ocean.
Yes.
I don't remember the aliens.
You don't remember the movie then?
I do remember the movie. Isn't Ed Harris in that movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
sure
I
is.
remember.
Yes. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio.
That's right.
The longest actress's name ever.
You like saying it though. But I don't remember the aliens.
Well, we'll see what you guys think of the design of the alien in this, because I
Okay.
definitely found it unique, a
I don't-
unique take on it.
Did we see the aliens at the end? I don't recall seeing them.
Yeah.
We did.
Yep.
I just don't remember.
Yep.
I don't know.
We did.
All right. Well, it's
Briefly.
going to be like all new to me, so that's great.
This is not streaming for free anywhere, so I brought it from my collection. You can rent it on Amazon
Yeah.
for a reasonable price.
What do we have for dinner?
Dinner, we had delicious breaded chicken sandwiches.
Schnitzel. Chicken schnitzel.
It was
Instead
delicious.
of pork schnitzel. And Michael told me what the German word for sandwich is. It's like Zanvik.
And had like a garlic aioli with it.
Yeah, lemon garlic aioli and arugula
Delicious.
and fries and salad. Yeah. All right. Let's you ready?
So we're going to watch this.
Okay.
What are you wiping onto the floor?
Oh, I'm picking my nail polish off.
Awesome.
It's okay. I'll vacuum it later.
So let's see what Nope has to offer.
Nope.
No, we're going to.
Nope.
Yes?
Nope.
Here we go.
All right, here we
All
go.
right. And we are back from our viewing of Nope.
Nope. Nope.
It's funny because when I saw the trailer for this, the title just made me giggle. Like,
Yeah.
that's a fantastic name for a horror movie. Just
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
What do we think? Initial thoughts?
This is an interesting movie. Like we said in the break, I don't know if it pushes all the right buttons for me. I think there's some concepts in here that are good. I think the soundtrack is great. There's pretty much one character in this movie that I like, and I dislike everybody else. I don't understand where the monkey.
We'll talk about it.
I can't with that. But those are my initial impressions.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, Carl, this movie is over 2 hours, and I'm surprised that,
It's a long-ass movie.
You didn't warn us. of
especially
this.
for you,
Yeah.
Yes.
there's always a concern that gets brought up when anyone picks a movie. This is,
I feel better now that we're trying to tighten our episodes and
All right.
not make them 2 hours long.
Okay. Fair enough.
yeah, but I'm in the same camp as Rachel. I think that there's some interesting things here. I think it's flawed. There are interesting concepts. Conceptually, the alien is interesting.
Are the last 20 minutes better having watched the whole movie and have it in context?
Yes.
Yeah, well, sure.
For sure.
Of course.
Otherwise, I'm like, what?
Knowing what's going on
Yeah.
and why there's
It's
a giant
really important.
parachute in the sky eating a balloon.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really care for the characters. OJ.
I like OJ.
Is one that I cared for.
Yeah.
The majority of them, I didn't. I think the pacing and editing could use some work. And casting was fine, I guess. They weren't like... I don't know. I'm conflicted. Like, we literally just stopped the movie.
We did.
So-
We just stopped. So these are like...
You haven't had time to have it sit with you.
No. So I have a lot of jumbled first impressions
Yes.
that aren't coming out in a productive fashion.
Well, let's give the
As
quick
usual.
let's give the quick recap.
Okay.
And then see what we
Good
come
luck.
up with. So it is in fact Agua Dulce.
It is.
So apologies to our Spanish-speaking listeners. Where basically it's this family, the Haywoods, who have a ranch in Agua Dulce, a horse ranch, and they specifically train horses for film and television productions. So at the very start of the movie, I do like the opening scene, the setup, where the patriarch of the family, played by Keith David, is in what they call the arena, training a horse, and his son is out there, Otis Jr.
OJ. Your name's OJ?
And all of a sudden, this is a recurring theme. Whenever the alien is there, the sound goes completely silent. No ambient noise, no nature sounds, nothing. Just dead
Right.
silence. And you hear debris or some objects moving at a fast speed,
Yeah.
hitting the ground, hitting the fence, just at a high velocity.
Dropping.
And the father ends up slumping over on the horse and then falling off the horse. And it turns out a nickel went straight through his eyeball, or
Yeah.
right into his head,
Killed him.
and killed him. It's later said that I think the excuse they made was a plane. It was
Yeah.
debris from an airplane
Yeah.
that did it. Now, next door to the horse ranch is a sort of Old West theme park called Jupiter's Claim, run by Stephen Yeun's character. Now, Stephen Yeun, his character was a child star who was in a series when he was a child with a chimpanzee
Yeah.
called Gordy. And the movie actually starts
Yeah.
before you even get to the horses or the ranch, starts with the aftermath of Gordy killing
His co-stars.
the co-stars of the show.
Yeah.
You hear sounds, you hear a balloon pop, you hear
Yeah.
the chimp going crazy, and Stephen Yeun was one of the only survivors of the cast
Right.
from this incident. Now he's grown up and he runs this theme park next door.
Unrelatedly.
them.
Yeah.
The father has done some deals, or it seems like they've. I don't know if the father was selling the theme park horses before he
Keith
died, or if they
David
started
father?
selling the horses after the father died.
I don't
No,
know.
he was trying to save the ranch because they were
Right.
losing
Yeah.
business. They needed to sell some of the horses, but it's a contract company where they're using the horses on the ranch as, animals in movie production.
And they're not very good at it.
Well,
Because the
It seemed like
horse,
the father held everything together.
Yeah,
right, because
yeah.
there's a comment. The first gig that they get after the father died,
Yeah.
the crew is like, "Hey, where's the dad?
Dad,
Like, we
yeah.
want to be dealing with the kids."
Right.
And the dad's dead. The sister, M, she doesn't really want to do anything with the business.
annoying.
She doesn't want to be involved in the horse business.
No.
The son is very like, I need to save this ranch. This is our legacy.
The son has a duty to the horses, to the dad, to the business, to the land he lives on. He feels like
His
he
dad
has-
built something.
Yeah, and he
it's
has
up to him to
loyalty
continue
to
it.
that, which I admire.
Well, and there's a whole backstory about the historical significance of their family, and that
Yep.
the first moving picture filmed was a 2-second clip or 3-second clip of a black jockey
Yeah.
on a horse, and that was their great grandfather.
And who then established this horse
Right.
farm.
So strange things start happening on their ranch.
Besides the nickel in the eye. Yeah.
They're hearing things. They're having electrical fluctuations. At one point, OJ sees something in the sky because one of their horses gets out, and you see it in glimpses, but it's kind of neat because it's silent. You see it darting from cloud to cloud. You don't necessarily get a good look at it.
It looks like you're looking underwater.
It's following all the proper rules of a monster movie, where you don't show it all at once.
You're
You
getting
give
it like side
glimpses,
eye.
You set the scenes. It's establishing itself as a predator because everything falls silent, just like in the jungle when a predator approaches.
Yep.
You know, it's doing its job.
Or like when there's a natural disaster coming, the birds leave. Like the nature knows when something
knows it's wrong. The horses know something's wrong.
Right. So eventually, Em, the sister, steals a statue of a horse from the neighboring
amusement park. Yeah.
And puts it in the middle of the arena because she wants to see, is there something out there?
Yeah.
Well, I think even before that, they start to establish that they know that something is out there.
Oh, because he saw it. OJ sees it.
OJ knows. He's like, that's an alien.
And
it takes one of their horses, too.
Yeah. And he talks to his sister, and she wants to get it. This is their ticket out.
Right.
Yeah,
they want to
make
get photographic evidence.
They're going to make Oprah money if they get a good shot of this thing.
Of an alien, and that's basically the thrust of the film. It's all the characters' motivation for what happens in the rest of the movie.
Right.
Because they want to get this thing on film.
Yep.
Yes.
And so there's various encounters with this thing.
Yep.
Throughout the movie. They recruit it's sort of, I don't know that they actively recruited him, but there's a technical support guy who works at Fry's who helps them set up cameras, and he kind of
inserts himself
into their situation. There's also a famous cinematographer played by Michael Wincott.
Yeah.
Who they try to recruit under the auspices of this. You're going to get the impossible shot. You're going to get something on film that is going to change the world that you'll never be able to find elsewhere.
And who does a rousing, sing-talk, dramatic version of Flying Purple People Eater.
Right.
Which is kind of silly.
It's super silly.
But they meet him at,
the commercial shoot.
That initial commercial
in Hollywood.
shoot.
Mm-hmm. Now, at the same time this is going on, OJ notices that something goes on at night in the neighboring theme park.
Mm-hmm.
So it turns out that the owner of the theme park, Steven Yeun, also is aware
of the alien,
that this craft is there. And it's been there for 6 months. And the horses that he's buying from OJ and his family, he's been basically trying to train this alien every night.
Yeah.
And using these horses as bait.
Yeah, he's getting the alien to come around and think of him as like a master or a friend, or he says so in his speech.
You know what? The movie did a piss poor job of establishing that.
I agree.
You as the viewer obviously can intuit what's going on, but there could have been way better. Like, I'm not talking about hand holding in the story, but it was just very awkward the way that it was presented and disjointed.
Yeah, because at one point OJ asks him, like, hey, I want a pathway to buy these horses back eventually. And Steven Yeun says, yeah, sure, we can talk about that.
Right,
like,
and the whole time the horses are being like sacrificed to this hungry alien thing.
And I think this is where the monkey stuff comes in, because I think one of the themes in this movie is man's desire to have dominion over nature, over a wild animal.
Yeah.
And so the chimp was a wild animal, and they're trying to train this chimp and domesticate this chimp.
And you can't take
a wild animal and do that to it. Like, it's always going to have its natural instincts.
Yep.
The same thing with this, Steven Yeun's character survived that episode with Gordy, and now he's trying to do it again with another wild animal, because it turns out that for a good chunk of the movie, it looks like a ship. It
Yes.
looks like a UFO. It's the standard saucer shape. It's got a hole in the bottom.
Yeah.
But as the movie progresses, you realize, and this is where I thought it was really cool, the ship is the alien.
Is the alien.
The ship is not a ship. Like,
And
that's the actual
It's
craft.
eating people. It's sucking, or whatever it can get. It's sucking people and animals
digesting
into
them.
these like weird balloon-like gills. I didn't know what I was looking at first. And slowly digesting them, or quickly digesting them.
They show it in the first frame of the movie, that box.
Which I think
Yeah.
is exactly the point. You don't know what you're looking at
Right.
because it's alien. It's supposed to
Alien.
be something
Yeah.
completely
yes.
not of this earth.
Right. And that worked.
That's what I really dug, because at one point toward the end of the movie, it unfurls itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking into it, and the design for the alien itself is a couple of different things. There's an anime, apparently, I've never watched, called Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Okay.
And the creatures in that
Kind of
resemble this,
look
but
like
it
that.
also, he looked into biblical descriptions of angels.
Oh, yeah. Those are wild.
It's very aquatic.
And he also
Yeah.
did, it's amazing you said that, because he also looked into deep sea creatures.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's readily apparent in the design, and same at the end where it has that green square where it's
it's
mesmerizing.
like a
its
lure.
prey.
It's a lure.
It is.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, to what you were saying earlier with the chimpanzee and stuff, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of recurring themes about predator and prey, and our interactions with animals, where you don't look at them in the eye, that they're unpredictable, that they
Yeah,
can't
that
be
was like
contained,
the
that you can exist
Jurassic
with
Park
them. Yeah.
T-Rex moment where it's like, if you don't move, it can't see you. If you don't look at it, it won't get you.
well, and he
It won't
has a
suck you
whole
up.
talk about that, how you have to kind of learn the rules of the whatever animal
yeah.
you're dealing with. They all have their own.
You don't show a bull red, and you don't.
Right. Certain bears you play dead
Bulls-
versus
right.
certain bears you make yourself look big.
Bulls are colorblind. They can't actually see red.
but-
It's the waving of the flag.
Okay, I'm just repeating what he said in the movie.
You know,
know.
black bear fight back.
Black fight back, brown lay
Right.
down.
So it's all about kind of learning how to deal with this animal. And so he eventually discovers that as long as you don't look at it, as
Yeah.
long as you keep your head down and don't make eye contact with it, it's not going to come after you, whether it doesn't think you're a threat at that point or whatever the case is.
not interested.
He figures out a rudimentary way to lessen the likelihood that the thing's going to eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is again another flawed part of the film for me. I mean, it doesn't seem. I don't know. I get it. It has to happen that way. The same thing with like everything electronic. It doesn't just shut off. It has to like slowly fade out. No
Has
matter
to
what.
be
No
spooky.
matter what it is. If it's a cell phone or a truck or whatever. Except if it's a motorcycle, then
That'll stop immediately.
Then it stops immediately for some reason.
And hits like a wall.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of technology stuff that bothered me
Yeah. Yeah.
in the film.
I feel like that's your version of whenever there's somebody playing a violin, and my wife gets annoyed if they're not even trying to make it look like they're actually
It's
playing, or a
everyone's
medical scene where
Right.
you could watch it as a nurse and be
Anytime-
like, you wouldn't do that in a hospital.
Exactly. Like shocking somebody when they're
They should be doing
asystolic. Exactly.
Right.
I mean, and I understand. There's certain things you got to let go. It's like whatever. There's as long as there's a purpose for it in the film.
And there's a tolerance point of everything. You know, how much you're going to tolerate. And then you're like, no.
and certain things, it's like, all right, they're doing it for atmospheric
Yeah.
effect. I get
Okay.
it, whatever. But then they did it a lot, and I don't know. It got on my nerves.
Got on my nerves.
So eventually they concoct this plot where they're going to get this thing on film. They
Yes.
convince the cinematographer to come down to the ranch. He has crafted a camera that doesn't...
It's a hand crank.
Right, it's a hand crank. It doesn't rely on electricity. So they've got this whole plan where they're going to lure... They've got a bunch of inflatable tube men
To find out.
So they can
hooked up to car batteries.
so they could see where the thing is.
Yeah. Where the dead spots are.
Right. And so they have this whole plot to get the perfect shot
Yep.
of this thing so that they can sell it to Oprah.
Yeah. And what we didn't mention is that the thing's been there for 6 months.
Since the father
Right.
died.
Yes.
Since the father
Lurking
died.
behind a cloud.
And
It's his territory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has its territory. It's acting territorial, and it's living in this cloud that
Doesn't move.
doesn't move, and they finally catch on to that
Right.
and figure out that that's where.
That's where it is.
Tends to
lives.
live.
Yeah.
So this is basically its feeding ground.
Yeah.
The nickel that killed the father, because basically after it digests people, it forcefully expels any non-organic matter.
Right.
I'm assuming
And
that
blood.
it's ingested, and it blood. So at one point it marks its like it empties its blood directly on their house.
Well, I think
raining blood.
that was a territorial action.
It's marking its
part of
territory.
The animal. It's a
Okay.
show of force. Like
Yeah.
it knows that there are those people in there, and it's saying that this is my space.
It's like peeing.
Right.
Yeah, kind of. I
Yeah.
mean, whatever. It's an animal's way of marking its territory.
But they also notice it because when it sucked up the fake horse, it ended up
Didn't like
spitting
that.
it out.
Yeah.
Like not immediately. It had it for a while because you could see the flag dangling that was attached to
Yeah,
it. But
it's
eventually,
churning.
it just spit it out whole.
So you're gonna
It
want
couldn't
this.
do anything
Yeah.
with it. So they concoct this plan to get the photo. Through a variety of circumstances, the plan doesn't necessarily go well.
No.
There's a TMZ
There's
reporter
interference,
that
yeah.
interferes. The cinematographer goes off the wall
Loses his mind.
and
like
wants
I
a
didn't.
wants
yeah.
a better shot than just the distance shot. He's like, I want to film inside this thing.
He was obsessed.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire movie, when you see him, he's watching
predators.
predators
Yeah.
take over and consume prey.
Yep. So he's like, this is.
and that's the shot he wants.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted to become, the prey. He had some.
The impossible.
Yes.
He wanted the impossible.
But he gets sucked up with his camera.
Yep. Get it.
So, and at this point, the thing is unfurled.
Yep.
And it's going after the sister because she's out in the open. So OJ gets on his horse and he looks at it
Yep.
to lure it away
To
from his
distract
sister,
it.
to distract it so his sister can get away. His sister escapes to the theme park. And in the theme park is a giant inflatable
Like cowboy.
version of Steven Yeun's character.
Yeah.
But it has a face.
Yeah.
So she figures it's going to think that this thing's looking at it.
Yeah,
It
and
doesn't
it's gonna
know it's a
eat it.
balloon. It's going to
Yeah.
eat it. So she unattaches it from the ground. It floats up into the air. And also in the theme park is a camera, like visitors of the park can use to take photos of themselves. So
But it's in a wishing
it's
well.
in a well.
So it's pointing up to
It's
the
pointing
sky.
up, so they look down into the well and take a picture of
Right.
themselves looking down the well.
No one had a film camera at all.
I guess not.
Like anywhere, they all get all this electronic shit when they know that they're going to lose electricity.
look,
and
I
the
don't
thing
know.
that finally ends up capturing the alien at the end is this
Is a film camera?
basically like a Polaroid,
Polaroid, yeah.
camera that's in a well.
Yep.
I don't know.
Even a film camera, you would need one that doesn't run on batteries because they said batteries don't work.
Most don't. You don't need the batteries.
I
in
was
it.
thinking
That's
about
for
modern
levels and
Polaroids.
stuff. No, just like a manual
An
camera.
old Kodak.
Yeah, you don't need the batteries.
a
in that.
Nikon or
Unless you have a flash,
Canon.
then you need a battery.
yeah.
So sure enough, she lets the balloon up into the sky.
And the alien's
The
like,
alien
what?
sees it. It's in full unfurled
Crazy mode.
It grabs the balloon, swallows it. She gets the picture
Yep,
right
of
as
it.
it's like swooping in to
Like
go after the
full-
balloon.
Alien.
It tries to digest the balloon. The balloon explodes inside of it, and it takes the alien with it.
Dies.
And the
Maybe.
popped balloon is what set off the chimp in the flashback as well. So
Yep.
there's a bit of a connection
full
there.
circle there.
She gets the photo,
Yep.
and OJ survives.
Yep.
He shows up on his horse, so he apparently it
They're going to
chased
ride
after her.
off into the sunset.
They've got their photo, so presumably they can
They're
get their
rich.
Oprah money. And that was the movie.
I'd like to give a shout out to OJ, who frequently uttered the title of the movie, and I just totally relate to that guy.
He was your spirit animal in
He
this movie.
really was. Where he's like the alien. Like at one point, the alien. He's driving in his truck, and the alien comes overhead,
It's right over him.
and it's right over him. The truck dies, and he's he starts to open the door, and then he can see the alien. He goes, nope, and he closes the door. He's like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Even
and
before that, there's a traditional alien horror movie scene where he's in the stables because the lights are on in the stable.
Yeah.
He turns the lights off. The light comes back on, and when he goes back in, he sees aliens,
These
like
little aliens.
sort of traditional big-eyed aliens. And like, there's one of them there, and he gets out his camera, like, I'm going to get a picture of this.
Yep.
And then like 2 more come out, and he just goes, nope, and he leaves. Those ended up not being actual aliens. They were the kids of Steven Yeun's character because they know that they stole the horse, and they're trying to mess with them.
But it's great. Nope.
But
I
there's
don't like it as the title.
No, I don't either.
At all.
Because I don't think it makes any sense in the context of anything else that happens.
Nope.
But Steven Yeun's character,
I see what you did there.
What ends up happening with him is, after however long he's been trying to train this creature, he decides, I'm gonna make a show out of it now.
Yeah.
I think I've got the pattern down in terms of how I can lure it out. I know what time of day it comes out. I'm gonna have a full crowd and try to lure this thing out. And it ends up backfiring on him because it does show up.
It eats everybody.
And it eats everybody because everybody's looking in the sky.
Right. They're like, wow. And it eats everybody.
And so literally everybody in the theme park is sucked up. And you actually see them all in the alien sort of getting digested. And they're all like smushed together and screaming. And anytime it eats and it's flying around, you could hear the screams like inside of it.
Yeah.
Does the alien project those? Like,
I don't know.
That seems weird to me.
Yep.
I feel like the Steven Yeun character either should have had a bigger role in the movie or a lesser role. Like, the amount of time that he had was weird. It was just awkward. You kind of want to know more, or you wish you knew less.
Yep.
But it was just,
I don't think
it was this weird, like, side.
The development of his character does anything for the for the main story. I get
really Carl's
necessary.
point about man versus beast,
trying to tame nature or trying to tame a wild
we already
animal.
had that. We already had that with the horses.
It should have either been fleshed out more or receded. To me, that's all. It was just kind of odd and kind of awkward. And then the other issue I had was, I don't know if it was like, I'm too old, if it was millennial humor. Some of the funny bits were like, some of them were not lost on me, but some of them were. I'm like, this not doing it for me. But interesting concepts.
Also, the dialogue, this is going to sound like old man complaining too.
Yes, here we go.
It's not clear.
No, I had a hard time.
I don't do mumblecore. Like,
no.
I want to hear what you're saying. You're an actor in a film.
Right.
Your job is to
like,
emote.
What? Don't make me turn the subtitles
on. If you're
on.
say lines, I want to be able to hear them and
agree.
understand what you're saying.
Don't make me turn.
There's a lot of mumbling.
A lot of mumbling. And the other ancillary character was Angel.
Yeah.
The tech support guy.
He was like supposed to be comic relief, but he wasn't funny to me. I don't know.
He was there to advance the plot where it needed to
I
go.
guess so.
They needed another character in there to.
It makes sense that they wouldn't have been able to set up all that stuff on their own.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to inject himself into the rest of the story.
He was supposed to be comic relief.
Well, and he was sort of an alien enthusiast. So when he figured out what they were trying to do, he really wanted to be involved in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The alien itself, the idea is interesting. I mean,
the concept is interesting.
When it presents itself in its form where people think it's a ship, it's almost like a stingray or, any other kind of skate or ray in the ocean. It has that form and, rays, if you look at them, they look alien. So that's an interesting, they just kind of move the mouth hole over. But when it started to unfurl, I think that's where it got more interesting. And you're starting to see more of it. But
I like how they did that too, because you only see it I think the shot was on the sister, but in the background you could see it, and it's like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on with that thing back there?
Yeah. But and again, this is nitpicking, but it looked like a giant piece of fabric in the wind.
It did look like fabric.
like there wasn't anything organic about it other than the idea of its movement. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, but you could chalk that up to it's alien. You don't know what
Right.
it's
Who knows what
made
an
of,
alien
and-
would
you
look
know what
like?
I mean?
It was, yeah.
yeah, I do, but that's why I said it's a nitpick.
I liked its green square lure.
Which also
like,
looked like ribbon material.
It didn't look organic. It
not,
was-
not organic. Which
but
yeah, and then
It's an alien.
if that's its body, its structure, its core is this cube that's at the center of it, and we don't really fully understand what that is. And I like that about it. I like that you don't really know what it remains mysterious. It came, it did its thing, and
Yeah.
then it died.
We killed it.
But
I liked the soundtrack. That was good.
yeah,
The music was really good.
the music was all right.
I liked it.
No, I know,
No.
no. I'm agreeing with you. The music was all
You
right.
said all right.
I'm not as enthusiastic about
I liked
it. as you.
it.
Sorry.
I liked the music.
Okay, I thought it was fine.
All right.
But
So?
yeah, I don't know. It's a long run time, and it's really not. I don't think movies this length are long.
I think it's like 2 hours and 15
but
minutes.
I don't think it takes.
Feels long.
I don't think it does feel long. and
So
I don't
did
think
Red
it
Dawn.
takes full advantage.
Sorry.
It does. Of
So did the
its-
red shoes.
The Red Shoes felt longer than this.
Well, it was.
to
it
me.
did.
It was.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's one where it has a lot of interesting ideas, and it just
I don't think the execution was quite there for me.
it's missing. I don't remember. Like, was this popular? Did it do very well? I don't remember any of that. And I don't
I just
know.
remember seeing
do
a
his
trailer.
films traditionally do pretty well? Are they like blockbusters? Are they
Budget
like
was 68 million, box office 171.
okay. I
okay.
mean, so it made money.
I think, like we talked about with our horror genre discussion, that this is kind of the new direction that horror is going in, and people like it.
Well, he has interesting ideas. Like he does interesting things
Okay.
with horror movies. Like I said, I've never seen an alien like that. Like, or aliens even thought of like that. So that's what I left this movie with. I was like, yeah, that was a kind of cool.
But
that was a cool version of an alien movie.
It
I've never seen anything like that.
It is a neo-Western sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is true. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
I think it hits all those points. But
What would you rate it, Rachel?
I'd probably give it 2 3/4 out of 5 alien abductions.
Oh, a little better than neutral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I really dig this movie. I'd give it 3.5 streeps.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Would your mom's like it?
No, I don't think my mom would like this. I mean, maybe she'd. I don't know.
My mom would watch this. I don't know how much she would like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty neutral on it.
I don't. I don't like the monkey.
I knew going in.
I don't like it.
I asked Matt.
He told me.
I
mean, I can handle
my pick
it,
as a
but-
murderous monkey is Rachel going to flip out, and
It
his
won't
response
flip
was
out.
no because she's an adult.
I am an adult. I acted like an adult.
You did.
But I don't like monkeys. I don't want murderous monkeys. I don't like it. Just
Right, but it wasn't about that.
No.
We didn't
But it
watch
was-
Planet of the Apes.
Right, or monkey shines, or
I just don't like it. It makes
happened to be in this
makes me
film
uncomfortable. Murderous aliens, totally
for
fine.
questionable reasons.
Murderous monkeys, not okay.
and I would say this definitely fit the Close Encounters theme,
And
and it was set in a real place.
Agua Dulce.
Yep.
Real place.
Real place.
They even had the Vasquez rocks. He had it. Stephen Yun's. What was his name in the movie?
They called him Jupe.
Jupe.
I jelp you.
Yeah, because whenever they were talking about him, they were like, "Oh, it's over at Jupe's
Is that a
place."
Scrabble word?
Help you.
His character's name was Ricky Park. Ricky Jupe Park.
Okay.
They call him Jupe because Jupiter's Claim is the name of
Jupiter's.
his.
All right, so that's his
theme
nickname.
Park.
Ricky Bobby.
Yep.
Stephen Yun.
That concludes our theme, everybody.
We're wrapping it up.
So we
Yay.
need to draw.
You need to push the button.
We
The AI
need
button.
to push the
Who's
button.
pushing it?
World. I think it's Carl's turn to push it.
All right, go ahead.
Carl, are you ready?
I am Am I ready?
Are you ready?
It's just a
Am I
button.
ready?
Carl, you ready?
I'm pushing it.
Push it.
Carl, push it.
All right. Okay, and our new theme is The Long Journey.
Yeah.
Movies where the characters undergo an extensive journey, whether literal or figurative, leading to self-discovery or transformation.
Has to be a journey,
There has to be a journey.
like a trek.
Okay.
And Matt
Yep, I'm going to spin
needs
it
his
right now.
shake-up.
Here we go.
All right, go.
All right, and my shakeup is Unlikely Heroes. So that would comprise movies featuring protagonists who aren't traditional heroes, like anti-heroes or
I love
ordinary
anti-heroes.
people thrown into extraordinary circumstances.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're going to watch Falling Down again?
Can we watch Lord of the Rings?
We will watch something.
Frodo Baggins is an unlikely hero, and they go on a journey.
That's true.
Just saying.
We can't watch just one, though. We're going to be here for 12 hours.
It's going to be all day.
We'll do it on a Saturday. All right. We have our new theme. Matt has his shake-up, so
Yep.
he's got some work to do the next week.
Yep.
No, Monday.
Or Monday night.
Last minute.
But thank you, everybody, as always, for joining us. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, look out for aliens.
And
Carnivorous aliens.
tune in next week for the next episode of the Movie Roulette Tuesday podcast.
They might get you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.